Hi everyone, today we're going to be looking at the Productivity 1000 series PLC, and in particular we're going to be looking at the online editing and debug mode that this controller can do. So we'll take a look at what we have connected here, and here is my Productivity series. I'm connected through my Ethernet port located right here. We can also connect through our USB port located right here. And up on my screen, you can see that I am connected. You can see that my CPU, there's my Ethernet port that we discussed prior when we established communications. And we're actually monitoring right here, and we're online to our controller. And it's currently in run mode. So I'm energizing, I'm running my program. And we have our simple start-stop circuit located right here, and that's what we're monitoring right now. So let's go ahead and turn our start switch on, which our corresponding output turns on as well. We'll turn that start switch off, and what we'll do is we'll just leave that on there while we modify this program for a jog circuit. So the first thing we'll do is we'll just change our online edit, and we'll add the jog. Hit OK. Now as soon as we do that, you'll see that we no longer are monitoring it here. And that is because the documentation actually is in the controller. And if we highlight this, we'll actually see why that is. So not saved and not transferred. So we haven't saved this program, nor have we transferred this program yet. So that's why we have this symbol up on the left hand side of the rung. Okay. So next thing we'll do is we're going to let's add an output jog coil. So let's go out here, and we will add the output coil. And what we'll call this is jog work bit. And we'll just hit OK. What that does is now comes up and tells us, well, this tag that we've just added, this jog work bit, does not exist. What do you want to do? And it defaults to a few of the things that's really good. We have our tag name. We have a data type, which is Boolean. We can change that to something else. We can make it retentive if we want. That means that the power turns off, the last status is maintained. We can also set an initial value if we want. What we'll do is just leave it as a default, and we'll put a comment here, and we'll just put internal jog work bit, and then we'll hit OK. Now you'll see that it actually puts on my screen, and the condition before that, it's actually going to be a normally open contact, and we'll actually use the physical I/O. We'll use the third switch down here on my CPU, and that's going to be DI. And we'll look down here, and it's 13.3. So we'll just hit OK. So again, now here's my circuit, and this doesn't look very good. It's actually supposed to be saying jog. So what we'll do is call up our tag database, and in our tag database we can get this through the applications tool menu, which is located right here. We can go to our tools menu, and let's see, it's one of these menus here, our edit menu, and our tag database is located right here, so we can call that as well. So what we'll do is we'll call that tag database up using our application tools, and when we do, there's our tag database, and automatically here on the left hand side you'll see here's my jog work bit that I did. And what I've done is I've selected my booleans as well in my my tag display in order to display it. And again, we have our in use. So it comes up and says these are in use already. So let's change that to a jog. So now my logic, when I look at it, makes a lot more sense. Okay, so that's been changed. We'll hit the top X to close that off, and now our software looks like this. Okay. The next stage that we have to do, or the next step we have to do, is to actually add or modify our beginning run to accommodate for our jog. So the first thing we'll do is we'll add a jog work bit in with the motor, beside the motor. So what we want to do is we want to move that over and add it beside that motor context. So that in order to do that, what we have to do is do a insert for column. Edit, insert, and then we want to insert a column. And when we do, it just moves it over. And right here, now we can enter our normally closed contact, our NC contact, and for the name we'll just hit jog to bring them up, and there's our jog work bit right there. So we'll just hit OK. Automatically we'll add to this to our program. Now what we want to do is we want to put in parallel with that the jog circuit. So if we hit and hold the control and just move our cursor down, it puts a horizontal line there, or vertical line. And now we can put our jog contact in there. Again, normally open contact, and that will be our jog. Just select it, OK, and use the control and right key. We'll just complete that circuit. So that is our circuit right now, and what we'll do is hit save to save our program. And you'll notice that now my symbol on my left hand side now has become different, and if I highlight that, it says basically not transferred. So we haven't transferred it yet to our controller. So let's do that right now, and we have a couple ways to do it. We hit up on the top on your main menu icons, we have our transfer projects to CPU. We also can go file, and then we can go transfer project to CPU, or you see that we have the shift F9 key in order to do the same function. So let's go ahead and select this, and the first thing it says to me is what type of transfer do you want. So we can do a runtime transfer, which is like an on-time edit. It's the same thing. We can do a stop mode transfer where the PLC goes into stop mode, it transfers the program, and then we can turn it back on again, or we can just cancel this operation. So we're going to do a runtime transfer, and automatically what you'll see is it comes up and it shows me a display as it goes along. Okay. Now when it's finished, it comes up and I have my highlighted documentation again here. So you'll notice that my output has not changed, and I changed the logic within that controller without having to stop the actual outputs from operating. So that was online edit. And to show you my jog now, if I were to hit my jog circuit, okay, it'll keep that output on, and then when I turn it off, it turns off. So exactly as we expected to happen for our jog circuit. Now the next thing we want to do is look at the debug mode, and the debug mode is a very powerful part of the process here that allows us to test and troubleshoot our controller very quickly and easily. So what we'll do is first of all we have to put our controller, or ensure that our controller is online, which it is. It's also in run mode. We actually need it in stop mode, and we also make sure that our run switch here is actually still in run, which it is. So we'll put it in stop mode. It'll ask me if I really want to do the stop. We'll say yes. So now I'm in stop. Now there's a couple of ways of going into debug mode. We can hit the icon here. We can actually go under the application tools, and we can go down to debug mode right there. We can also go CPU and we can select Debug Mode from that menu. So a few different ways of doing the same thing. So let's select our Debug Mode. And what you'll notice first of all is that on my ladder logic you'll now see different symbols. We'll see this arrow indicating the step that we're on in our ladder, and we have the box, and the box represents each rung. And I can set up set points by hitting this, and it puts an X in the box. What that means is that I can now run to that set point, or I turn that off and it will continue. Up on my screen now I have, on my icons, I have a new set of icons that I've highlighted, and these icons here allow me to do different functions. Now I can highlight them, and the first one is execute outputs, which means that the outputs will actually be on as I cycle through. And again, what you can do is, if this is online and you don't want anything to falsely trigger, you can keep the outputs off. But because we're troubleshooting this, we'll turn this on. Then we have a single step. What a single step will do is, if I hit this, you'll notice that my arrow now goes from rung 1, it just went to rung 2. If I hit my single step again, then it does the scan, or the end of the scan, and it goes back to my rung 1 again. Then I have run 1 scan, so what it will do is run 1 complete scan when I hit it. Then we have a run to breakpoint. So if my rung 2 had a breakpoint in it, I can hit my run to breakpoint. It will run down to that location and stop. So then I can check my variables, see what's happening within my logic. We also have a stop, and it just basically stops the controller. Then we have a show all breakpoints. So if that was my breakpoint again, I can hit this and it comes up and it shows all my breakpoints I have programmed within my logic that I'm trying to troubleshoot. So we'll just hit close that. We'll turn off that breakpoint. Then we have clear all breakpoints. So I could have just hit that, and we hit that button. It clears all my breakpoints. Then we have to go to current rung. So again, we can see it, but if it was a long program and we are going to a breakpoint, then we can hit this. We go right down to where that stop is. So let's do a couple single steps here. So we're back on rung number 1, and what we'll do is we'll turn on our jog, and we'll do a single step. So as soon as we do a single step, it executed my logic here, turned on my output, but you'll notice that my output physically is not on yet here in my controller. The next one is, as soon as this one's on, then it will turn this on. Now, then it will update our scan, because this is the end of our program. It will then set our physical outputs on, so then our output should actually then go on for the next scan. And that's exactly what it did. And then our logic is right here. So again, I can step through. You'll see my logic goes to this next rung, and then again updates the outputs, and then starts it again. So now let's turn off the jog. So my jog is now off. I'm in my first one here, and let's just single step it through. So it turned off that jog, or out that motor. Then it updates the database and then physically turns off my output. So the debug mode is a great tool to have, and especially when you're trying to troubleshoot and look at your program. So all the links and documentation can be found on our website at accautomation.ca. And if you like this video and like to see more, there are 3 ways in which you can help us out. You can give us a thumbs up so other people can find this information just as you have. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can also go to ACC Automation and subscribe to our website. When you do, notification will be given to you every time we publish new content on the site. You will also get 2 free books on numbering systems and robust data logging. And the third thing to do to help us out is to tell a friend or colleague about the site. Alright, that's it for now. Thanks for watching.